Hello, welcome to the Drama Coach. I am updating again. I think this is update number 14 now. No, it's not, it's 15, beg your pardon. Update number 15 of myself and my daughter Lacey's journey into screen acting. So this week is show week for both of us. So it's a pretty busy week. I've already talked about how, unfortunately, if you see it that way, we've both got shows in the same town, but on the same week. Lacey knew this from audition, that if I went for this, I wouldn't see her in her musical. Luckily, there's going to be a DVD of her musical, so I will get to see it in some capacity, even though it won't be live. So it is show week, so it's pretty busy. So I thought I'd talk about having a support network. I am so very lucky that my husband is so supportive of mine and Lacey's pursuits. He's even taken this week off of work to make sure that we're on top of things. I mean, my job's been making sure everybody's fed. His job's been making sure everybody's in the right place at the right time and doing various lifts, because we've got another daughter that needs to be at her dance classes as well. So it has been a little bit tricky managing it. And so what I wanted to say was, you know, if we didn't have that support network, there's no way that the two of us could be doing different shows this week. We've already had to say no to the odd bits and bobs that have come through that have clashed with these things. So, you know, that double booking, that diary is hard enough to manage. So get yourself a support network. If you're just supporting your child, it's probably okay, but again, you're going to manage it around your own work. But if you are both trying to act, get the grandparents involved, or perhaps there's some lift chairs that you can set up for the other dance groups or drama groups. I would say this week would be impossible without our very lucky, fortunate, lovely support network that we have, to try and get that in place. Yeah, I don't know, who else could you use? Godparents, other parents of children who are attending the same show. Unfortunately for Lacey, it's not our local town, so actually she doesn't know kids well that are in her production to do that with, or they won't even be going in that direction. But on the subject of lift shares, we are going to be doing those for another project. So Lacey successfully got into the reserve team for a pantomime, professional pantomime. Her older sister got into a team, which is really exciting because she'd auditioned last year and got a call back, but not all the way through. And then this year she went again. She wasn't sure if she wanted to. And then when she got there, she loved it. They did the auditions on the stage this time. It's a nice big stage, a new choreographer, exciting choreography. So they both really enjoyed the experience. Again, I couldn't take them. I was in my own rehearsals, so my husband took them. He was a brilliant dance dad. And they had a really successful day with my eldest getting all the way through and my youngest being put through to the reserve teams. Which she's thrilled about, and you know, it'd be marvellous if she gets a place, although she was very sweet and said she wouldn't wish somebody else not to get their place for her to get the place. It will be great if she does get a place with her sister, because then we can take them together and watch them perform together. But equally, if she doesn't, it looks like she's got lots of bits and bobs coming through now that she'll be able to do other projects anyway. And she will know, she won't have to learn it and then be on standby. It's different to an understudy role. She will find out before the rehearsals begin. They only begin a couple of weeks before the performance. She'll find out before rehearsals begin whether she's got a place or not. And it's all to do with licensing. So this was new for me. So children need a license, a young performer's license, I think it's called, to perform, especially when they need time off school. Although Lacey's already got a license to perform that a student film director has organised for her for the school holidays, I was surprised she still needed a license, even though that project involves no time off school. But for the pantomime project, there are days needed off school. Not a huge amount, but of course Lacey, being on the reserve team, has to apply for the dates of all three teams. So you need to sort of explain, the letter does explain. So Imagine Theatre give you all the paperwork that you need to send to the head teachers and request their signature, etc. But of course the schools have their own ways of looking at authorising absences. So a different system for my eldest. It worked really, really well. They came back to us straight away. The only thing that didn't work well was my emails, sending it through to junk. So that was a pain, check that. Yeah, that was annoying. Anyway, the school system worked really well. They approved her straight away. I mean, I suppose this is my eldest daughter, in her favour that she's just completed year 7. She has been, a brilliant student, really hardworking, always there, always getting her, what would you call them? You don't call them house points anymore, all of these house points, etc. And she'd really proved herself in the dance department. So in my opinion, how could they say no to her having a few days off to do something really well in dance? She just sort of won year 7 dancer of the year and etc. So her school were brilliant, but it's testament to her. And again, if your child wants to go into performing, keep that up, keep on top of it. Every bit of school that they attend, every bit of homework that they complete well, it's all stacking up towards them, I would imagine, more easily getting that time off from their school when they request it. Because it would be really sad to gain that place in that piece that you're doing, live theatre or pantomime or shooting a TV piece, and then you can't go because school won't let you. So, or students, if you're watching, just keep on top of everything you learn. Lacey started learning the drums this week, which is fun. Again, everything you learn is something on your spotlight or your CV if you don't have spotlight yet. I was going to say, horse riding gets expensive and time consuming, but anything that you learn, and there's so much on YouTube that you can learn. Again, she's learning the drums. We've got an electric drum kit, so she's got headphones on and she's got some YouTube videos, and she's learning it that way for now in her spare time. So I'm like, oh great, yeah, if you can drum to a certain level, then fantastic, you can count that as one of your skills. So I digress. Make sure you're doing your best at school, you're present, you're keeping on top of your homework. I know it's hard when you're also trying to study for your acting, but everything counts, I think, in my opinion, but perhaps that comes from being a teacher. So they've been granted their time off for Elsie to do the pantomime and for Lacey to be on the reserve team. So fingers crossed she does get through, but I wouldn't wish somebody not to. So she's really happy because it's the first time she auditioned. It was a huge confidence boost to get that far in this pretty grueling audition process. So she's happy with herself anyway, which is really, really good. So on the subject of training and keeping on top of everything, it occurred to me, perhaps it should have occurred to me long ago, that Lacey does have her own personal drama coach, aka me. I teach her every week. We've been doing theatrical monologues, competitions, as you know. But we were in the car waiting for her sister the other day. I said, hey, I think she had a self-tape to do, she was practicing for a self-tape. I said, well, let's practice. Let's use the phone in the car on the dashboard and let's think about camera angles. So we had a talk about, the really close up, the mid shot, the far away, and the differences, and talk to her about, she perhaps can't wave her hands around in a really tight close up, and she can't bobble her head around because it'll be all over the place in the screen. So we talked about those sort of different shots and how that would vary her acting, and we practiced. And again, you can do it on the iPhone, or probably your smartphone, whatever. You can flip the camera, you can watch yourself, she can watch herself back, and really think about, just acting with her eyes or using her whole body and the difference in that. And that was a really valuable lesson, I think, for her. But we hadn't sort of planned it as such. We just started it as part of her self-tape rehearsals. So I've been looking at where she can get some TV and screen acting classes. And at the moment, there's not a lot. If you're London-based, there's more. But I've done some inquiries here and there, and there's nothing that really ticks all of the boxes that I want for her at the moment. So for now, I'm teaching her with what I know, reflecting on what we watch, what we create, following lots of people on Instagram, etc., that are quite, agents and casting directors, and listening and watching to people and their tips and things that they have. But as of yet, there's the Trinity exam, so I downloaded a little bit of that because there's the screen acting exam there, and I thought perhaps I'll put her in for one of those. But yeah, as yet I can't find a coach or a group that's really specifically training her for film. There's loads for theatre, there's loads for dance, and that's brilliant. I would absolutely love to know if you've got your little one or yourself, you know, you've got training ongoing that's perhaps online, or where's local to you that you're using and that's working, because at the moment I feel like there isn't enough. I know it's certainly not taught in schools, or not any schools I've been in. We've always taught drama and screen acting. I did a very small module once because I had a friend who was in Holyoke, so he came along and gave a workshop, and that was exciting for the students, but it's not there in the curriculum. Obviously there's media studies when you get to, it used to be A-level, it could be GCSE now and above, but again, nothing that is sort of acting for camera. So I'd love to know if you found an acting for camera course. I'd love to know about it. Let me know, please. Right, so we have talked about the new jobs, the pantomime, the licensing. So yeah, pretty much, I believe every piece that a student is in has to have a license. So you make sure, even if you're in the, well, usually with the student films, it's part of their course to make sure that they obtain the licenses. So check that up. Chaperones are a must. Obviously there's chaperones at the pantomime, which are often volunteer and DBS checked parents. I don't think I'll be doing that because there's so much else on to be doing. And I expect my wonderful support network will be doing a lot of those lifts as well. But yes, we are planning to lift share with students in this area to try and cut down the amount of lifts that are happening during panto season. Where was I? So yeah, get yourself your support network. Make sure your licenses are up to date, and don't let your child miss out by not getting a license in time. You know, follow all the paperwork that you're given for each project. Coaching, yes, I've been doing some, and I'd love to know if there is more out there for screen acting in particular. I think that's everything for this update. I hope yourself or your child or your student are doing brilliantly. And again, I would love to hear in the comments of any success or any tips that you have to share with others on this. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again next time. Bye.